I'm Zoe 70. Uh, I am not a fan of Xbox, no way, shape, or fashion. But I am a fan of video games. And as a fan of video games, there was a time where I was a huge supporter of the Microsoft brand. I would say going all the way back from the original Xbox to the Xbox 360, but then after the Xbox 360, I feel like Phil Spencer and his vision has just been incredibly horrible for the Xbox brand. Zobi 70, if you Google and YouTube me, Zobi 70 and Phil Spencer, I am the first and only person who was coming after Phil Spencer since the beginning. I feel like Phil Spencer, before Phil Spencer, there was 2011, and that was when Xbox initially gave, go back to 2011, go back to their E3, and you will see what the initial plan was for Xbox. The initial plan for Xbox is the plan that you are seeing today when it comes to all the developers, when it comes to Nintendo, when it comes to Xbox, when it comes to PlayStation, and that is DRM. DRM, for those of you who don't know, it basically means removing ownership from gamers. There was a period in time where Microsoft did not understand or believe why are they owning their games? Why are they getting access to the games? Yo, Cooper Quick, Pizza Cap, Kaiden 360, what is going on? What is going on? Welcome. Take a seat. We are about to do a live reaction to, what is the young lady name? Laura Fryer. She does a video called The Future of the Xbox. Future of the Xbox. If you guys don't know who Laura Fryer is, she's one of the founding fathers of Xbox. She's one of the original creators, one of the original visions, a woman. Microsoft would have had you believe that they never had women working at Microsoft. I have a lot of respect for women. I'm going to go in on Sarah Bond in this video because I have no respect for her. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful in any way, shape, or form. I'm talking about as a fan of gaming. I have no respect for what she does, her pedigree. If you Google Sarah Bond, she came from T-Mobile. I don't know what the hell T-Mobile's doing. I know back in the 2000s, early 2000s, T-Mobile had something going. But as of right now, the founding mothers, yeah, you know what I mean? But, just being respectful, calling the founding fathers. So, it's the video, getting the video prepared and ready. I have no respect for Sarah Bond. I know by saying that I'm sexist. I know by saying that I'm racist. I know by saying that I'm being hateful. And no, if I could say I have no respect for Yoshida, if I got no respect for Phil Spencer, and nobody bats an eyelash, but if I say it about, hey, Judy 662, how you doing? If I could say that, I could say the same thing for Sarah Bond. If she wants to be the president of Microsoft, she could take the heat just like everybody else. If she wants to be the president at Xbox Gaming, she could take the heat just like everybody else. No ifs, ands, or buts. What are we talking about? We're about to do a live reaction to the video is called The Future of Xbox by Laura Fryer. The Future of Xbox by Laura Fryer. It's a good video. She goes in deep, and she's one of the founding fathers of Xbox. I got a lot of respect for the ladies of the past, man, in gaming, man. The ladies in creativity in the past were so freaking dope, man. So hardcore, man. I get nervous when I see the girls of today. You know what I mean? The girls of today, and you see the games that they create today, you'd be like, oh, and by girls, I mean quote unquote girls. You know what I mean? They got a couple of he, she girls sprinkled in there as well. And I get nervous, you know? But the girls of the past, Laura Fryer, got a lot of respect for her. Um, the creator of Inuyasha, the creator of Sailor Moon, the creator of Xenogears, one of the creators of the Xeno Saga, one of the creators of Xenoblade. She started to step away from the Xenoblade. This is how good this girl is from the Xenogears. I think Xenoblade is trash, but that's only because she's been stepping away from the projects. So I got a lot of respect for my female creators. You know what I mean? What is your purpose? The purpose is, as a fan of gaming, I love to say, I told you so. That's my purpose. I love to say, I told you so. That's my purpose. But man, we're about to jump deep dive into this video. One of the founding fathers, Laura Fryer, is about to break it down on what's really going on over there at Microsoft. Yeah, simp much. Yeah, I'm simping. You're a simp for trans women. Okay, that's what's up. Everybody's got their thing they're into. But let's get into it. We're gonna go into it. She's gonna talk about it, and then we're gonna respond.
Watch the latest Xbox showcase. You can see that Xbox has finally landed on a strategy.
Okay, there we
a
go.
Plan for the future of Xbox.
Sorry for the glare. Oh God. Here we
it's
go.
the Xbox Anywhere plan.
Xbox Anywhere.
Entire business on Game Pass and leaving the hardware.
Why they keep using the same song and soundtrack?
This wasn't surprising.
In gaming.
It's expensive to make. It's much easier to slap an Xbox sticker on an existing piece of hardware and call it a day. It requires very little effort in comparison. And if you don't care about console sales or exclusive games anymore, why bother innovating in hardware? I'll admit, it's a great message for gamers. Who doesn't want to play their games with their family and friends on any device and any platform? But that's all it is. It's marketing. It's style, not substance. Just because you say something, it doesn't mean that you can do it. And it also doesn't mean that you won't change your mind. After all, Xbox has been pivoting a lot lately.
Yep, that's me. And you're probably wondering how I ended up here. Well, it's pretty standard.
Remember when they talked about the importance of high-quality games, but then shut down the studio that made Hi-Fi Rush?
Wow.
What about Game Pass? One of the defining features was day one games. And now there are tiers that don't offer the feature at all. Last year, Phil expressed how $70 pricing could feel manipulative to gamers. And now he's on board with charging $80 for Outer Worlds 2.
If you didn't hear it, she said Phil Spencer, his initial plan, he felt like charging people $70 for video games was corrupt. It was evil. Now he's all on board on $80 games. Now that feels like that has been an ongoing thing over there at Microsoft, is saying one thing and then all of a sudden changing it to say another thing. And if you bring that up, Microsoft Sam's will say, no, he never initially said that. He did. And then you'd be like, hey, I just Googled it. It says it right here. Oh my God, Google, you trust Google, man? And yes, $70 games is ridiculous. Going to $80 is even crazier. I've been saying this for a very long time, man. Phil Spencer, he was just a way for everybody to get comfortable and used to DRM. That's it. They never changed up. They never changed up the strategy, man. Don Matrick, he wasn't niceable enough. He wasn't nice enough. The way he was talking, his disposition, he wasn't able to sell that idea or formula to the gamers. So what they did was bring in a guy who smiles. Hi. Phil Spencer reminds me of the guy. I'm going to do a video. He reminds me of that vampire guy from the Sinners movie. Hey, what's going on? How are you? We're just here. We want to join the juke joint, man. We just want to play in the band, man. Yeah, yeah. Just let me install Windows on Xbox and I'm a pirate everything. Oh, wait, I already got a PC. I don't know what you're talking about, man. We do not condone any of those type of tactics here at the Zobi 70 channel. The Cool Nerds, we do not support stealing, taking, window, whatever he's talking about. I have no idea what he's talking about. I just wanted to, I read that comment and I condone nothing like that. I firmly believe in spending money, but I do not believe in spending an outrageous amount of money on modern day games. That's ridiculous. But let's get into it. Yeah, somebody lock him up, please. I do not support that.
From my perspective, the Xbox strategy has been chaotic, so it's hard to say exactly what they'll do next. But assuming they stick with Xbox Anywhere, it's really left me wondering, will the latest announcement drive more gamers to Game Pass? Will they be able to convince gamers that the Xbox ROG Ally is a good idea? And what is going to happen with the hardware and software teams that aren't delivering right now in the Xbox team? Are they going to get caught up in the layoffs that Microsoft just announced are coming? For context, let's talk about why Xbox started and how it played into the strengths of Microsoft. I was working in Microsoft Game Studios on Crimson Skies when the console talks started. At that point, Microsoft dominated the office, but Sony owned the living room and was taking a serious bite out of the PC gaming market. When Xbox launched, there were at least 125 million PlayStations available, and there was a reason for that. Gamers could just plug in the PlayStation and the games worked. They didn't have to worry about why that piece of software on the Windows system didn't play nice with the other piece of software and why their video card wasn't working or that they needed an updated driver.
No, but what's going on, brother?
Simple.
It's how you share your games on PS4. Thanks.
Of course,
That was bogus marketing from PlayStation. That was not. That initially, they were planning on doing DRM 2 as well. I remember when the reports were coming out and they were saying that PlayStation and Xbox are going to be doing DRM with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Now, they also said that with Microsoft going first and announcing it, PlayStation was going to respond accordingly. PlayStation was going to respond accordingly. Microsoft went out there, they announced the DRM, and then PlayStation came behind them with the next conference, and they shot that quick little segment in the back room with Yoshida passing the you know what I mean? And then boom, the rest was history. IGN, GameStop, all these, especially IGN, man. I remember at the time, IGN, every 5 seconds, they were creating videos on how PlayStation was better than Xbox because of this whole DRM situation. You know what I mean? Hey, dog, what's going on? And boom, I remember every 5 seconds, IGN was just posting Xbox is trash, Xbox is trash, Xbox is trash, Xbox is trash, Xbox is trash. And literally saved PlayStation, man. The PlayStation 4 needed a savior, and at that time, it was the gaming media. Whoa! But they both initially were, and we were able to find out that this was true, I think no less than 3 or 4 years ago, where they were showing, a guy had showed by removing his PlayStation battery, it was showing that the DRM was still there. With the purchases of your PlayStation 4 at the time, they would not allow you to play your PlayStation unless you got that first initial update, that patch. So the PlayStation 4 had the DRM as well, but there was a series of patches and things of that such, they were able to take that away. That was the plan. That was the initial plan. Xbox and PlayStation. So please, anybody looking at PlayStation to be some type of savior at that time, that was not the case. The PlayStation 5 right now has DRM. It has it. No if, ands, or buts. Xbox was always the test dummy. Yeah, by Xbox going first in those conferences, I remember Xbox used to go first. They would go early in the day as well. And then PlayStation would follow up with a presentation that night. And by doing that, by Xbox going first and doing that, PlayStation was able to regroup and re-strategize. Because I remember Xbox came out with it first. The social media ran rampant. They were upset. They were angry. They were mad at the DRM. It was a completely different time. Nowadays, they all do it, so we all have to, I mean, you guys all have to go, yeah, DRM is fine. I don't see what the big deal is. I think it's one of the biggest travesties to ever come to gaming. But thanks to Phil Spencer is the GOAT when it comes to getting Xbox fans comfortable with being robbed, man. And every single video, every single conference, Xbox fans are just getting robbed and robbed and robbed and robbed. They to the point now they don't even have any games. I don't even know what the Xbox Continuum is doing on Twitter right now. I don't know what they're defending. They were just having a circle jerk over AMD, and I was like, what is this? What are we doing?
Time, game developers actually listened to their customers and they would follow them. With all of these gamers going PlayStation, game developers started trying to climb the hill of learning the PlayStation. And if they could do that, then they didn't have to worry after they made their game about testing all of those hardware and software compatibility issues that plagued the Windows ecosystem. It just worked. Microsoft could see this threat, so they jumped in and did what Microsoft does best. They took over an existing market by leveraging their strengths. They already had a fine-tuned system of execution at scale. They knew how to ship product and they knew how to scale their system across a large team. Luckily, Microsoft had already built a game developer foundation with Microsoft Windows and DirectX. The message for Xbox was simple. With a hard drive, you could build your game once on Xbox or Windows and it would just work. Of course, the problem was Windows was bloated. So without telling Bill Gates, the Xbox team removed the bloat and made a light version to power the box.
I start to try to argue for this, why we can't have the normal version of Windows. Bill doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want to hear it. He yells at me, shuts me down.
We did everything we could to make the platform as attractive for game.
This has had nothing to do with anything, but I believe I was having a podcast with a couple of Xbox guys, and I said, Bill Gates still works there. Yo, absolutely. How do I reach out to offer you my services? Thank you. My services. What do you mean, brother? Thank you so much for the donation. But this has nothing to do with anything. But just seeing that Bill Gates clip, I was by email coolnerdsamerica@gmail.com. OnlyFans services. I don't have an OnlyFans. Yeah, I was having a discussion with a couple of Xbox guys, and I was saying that Bill Gates, he's still running Microsoft. You know what I mean? I still believe that he's running this whole bad boy, because what I see that's happening at Microsoft comes off a little Bill Gates-ish. You know what I mean? It come off like somewhat of a tyrant, if you will. Post-production and editing, not OnlyFans guys. That'd be awesome if you could do some editing stuff for me, man. I would love to do some videos and then send the editing to somebody else and just talk over the thing. You know what I mean? Hit me up on coolnerdsamerica@gmail.com if that's what you want to do. I got a lot of ideas. I just can't edit these. I'm a bad editor. I like get on the microphone and just babbling, But listen, I think he still runs that mother sucker, but he just has brown faces and a smiling Caucasian like Phil Spencer to come on to kind of trick and confuse us. You know what I'm saying? I think Bill Gates still runs that. Because I remember they were saying, no, he does not run it anymore. He does not. And I said, well, why not? Because he cheated on his wife. What? Yeah, he stepped down because he was cheating on his wife with a staff member. I said, huh? What? And yes, at that time, with the illusion of the Democratic Party giving off that men are evil and messing cheating on women is bad and this and that and the third. But I go, this man is a. But at the time, I'm not thinking like that, but they're thinking like that. So I can understand why they would think that was a good excuse to step down from $1 billion company. But I don't think a man that powerful, that's ridiculous to me. Why can't billionaire talk to our sleep with? I don't know. I'm just saying that's what happens. That's a given. You know what I mean? That sounds ridiculous to me. That just sounds like a weird excuse to use to just not be in the forefront, because he went from that transition to the transition with the whole telling us what we should do with our bodies when it pertains to certain serums that we inject. You know what I mean? And I just think that's completely bogus. But I still think that Bill Gates is running Microsoft. There's no way that a man could step down from his $1 billion industry because he cheated on his wife. A man that's well known for decades for taking trips to Epstein Island. This is not even alleged. This is a fact. So his wife Ben knew how this boy gets down.
Developers as possible. We even hired 50 game makers into the Xbox Advanced Technology Group to support the game developers. The ATG team collectively had made hundreds of games, so we were great at translating game developer concerns into changes at Microsoft. We did.
Hey, there she goes. She looks young.
And this focus on developers.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. Let me pause real quick.
So
We got Cool Nerds. I'm sorry. COOL. And I can't type it in the chat. It doesn't have a typing option. Well, unless it does, I don't know. COOLNERDZ America@gmail.com. It's Cool Nerds with a Z at gmail.com. Hit me up, man, if you really talking about doing some editing and stuff like that. Let's get back to it. But thank you so much.
Weaknesses. They did not have great developer tools or support or documentation.
Games sell consoles, and so in order to sell consoles, we had to win the hearts and minds of the developers.
I could see that Xbox had a chance of succeeding. We were listening to developers. And
It won't let me type in the chat here thing. Unless I don't want to press a button and get kicked out.
Exclusive, high-quality first-party titles. We knew that platform adoption requires proof. People don't buy your new hardware if there's no reason to.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a problem for the new Xbox handheld.
Yeah.
And it worked. By 2012, Xbox was a multi-billion-dollar business.
Nice.
And they were a true player in the living room.
Yeah, they were.
Fast forward, and here we are. It's 1 year from the 25th anniversary of the Xbox. And it looks like they're abandoning pretty much everything that made the Xbox brand great in the first place. Let's start with the handheld announcement. I've seen mixed reactions, and that has me really puzzled because I don't see any reason why anyone would buy this piece of hardware. Just like the original Xbox, it's built on Windows, a slimmed down version of Windows, but it's still Windows. So this isn't something new. And let me just...
Speaking of which, this has something to do with I mean, it has everything to do with what she's saying, but that's an excellent point. You can't sell a console because Microsoft is planning on releasing a handheld console, but you can't sell it without the games. Now wait a minute. Now hold on. Yeah, that statement is true because we just had a Steam Deck, and I think the Steam Deck has been out for a couple years now, and I think it only sold 100,000 copies. As much as they were saying that the Steam Deck was going to be amazing and the Steam Deck was going to out destroy the Nintendo Switch because it's got 10,000 gigawatts of AMD processing, gigaframes, gigawatts, you know what I mean? And yet it only sold like 100,000 copies. Nintendo was able to outsell that with the Nintendo Switch 2 within the first week. Now, when I mean in the aspects of no games, I mean the aspects when it comes to exclusive games. People buy your platforms to get access to exclusive games. Now, there's whatchamacallit. There's exceptions to the rules. I believe that the PlayStation can barely sell without exclusives. I do believe that. I do. The PlayStation is probably the only console that I believe that can get away with barely selling consoles with no exclusives. I do not believe people are showing up to buy a PlayStation. Excuse me, it's not even what I believe, it's what I know. People are not buying PlayStations to get access to Astrobot, to get access to The Last of Us, to get access to God of War. We could take it all the way back to getting access to Ape Escape, Gravity Rush, Hot Shots Golf. Now, when it came to third-party exclusives, PlayStation had that back in the day. Your Metal Gear Solids, your Final Fantasy VIIs, your Tomb Raider was on other consoles as well, but you know it felt like it was a PlayStation exclusive. You know, when it came to the Devil May Cries, the Resident Evils and things of that such, yes, the third party exclusives is what sold the PlayStation initially. Nowadays, I you know, PlayStation I think is just kind of selling on fumes right now. It's just kind of the better of the options when it pertains to PlayStation and Xbox. And not only that, there's just a big, strong following of PlayStation fans ever since the PlayStation 2, man. My God, that PlayStation 2 has created such Sony's bots. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? So many PlayStation fans have been birthed by the PlayStation 2 because that was the console of the house. It was your go-to DVD player. It was your go-to place to go play Madden. It was your go-to place to play NBA Live. It was your go-to place to play Grand Theft Auto. Giving birth to some of the biggest losers and winners that you've ever seen in your entire life. You ever notice that somebody who was a die-hard PlayStation fan is one of the biggest losers and winners? Yeah. On average, that's what it's going to be. But I think the Nintendo Switch 2 would not be able to do, and Nintendo Switch 1 as well, would not be able to do such groundbreaking numbers. I believe it's because of the exclusives. Exclusives matter. It doesn't matter for PlayStation and Xbox between those two. I cannot make that. But with Xbox, I think in order for Xbox to truly dominate PlayStation, because with the PlayStation 3, PlayStation, you took a major L to Xbox because number one, PlayStation 3 had no games. Little Big Planet, Uncharted, all of that sold less than 200,000 copies. Xbox was able to come in there with the Halos, God dang it, I hate when this thing resets and gives me an ad. It came with a phenomenal online gaming system. The online was incredible for the consoles. If you were going to go between the PlayStation and Xbox, it was phenomenal. You had the cross game chats. You had the Call of Duties that worked well with that controller. You had a bevy of exclusives,
I don't like Windows. When
way
I
more
went to
exclusives than
Microsoft,
PlayStation.
I installed
Soldier Boy said it best. PS3 ain't got no games. Yeah, it was trash. It was trash. Exclusive, yeah, exclusives matter. Exclusives matter. And I believe if Nintendo was to release the console and then release Mario Kart World on all platforms, no way. No way. People bought that Nintendo Switch too. People buy those Nintendo Switches to get access to those exclusives. But if you were able to play it on anything, if you were able to play Mario Kart World and with the online play and all the functionalities that the Nintendo Switch 2 can do, there's no way. She's right. How are you going to come into this and sell off this new handheld console with no games? How are you going to sell and put all this money into a new console with something that we can play on every other platform? I know what Phil Spencer's initial idea is, and that is for Game Pass. But if you can't get Nintendo and PlayStation to get on board with it, maybe they will in the future. Maybe they say, "Hey, I done threw all these games at you, man. I didn't help business. Look over here. These games are selling extremely well on your platforms. Oh, Xbox games are selling phenomenal on the PlayStation, man. Old games, old. People say that old game. They just put Final Fantasy 16 on the Xbox and it barely cracked the top 300. It barely was able to reach 300. It was an unmitigated disaster. Number one, the game is trash. But number two, they're saying the game is old. That's the reason why it's sold like that. And I say, well, then why is Xbox old ass games coming onto the Nintendo and PlayStation and selling like gangbusters? Final Fantasy 16 is trash. That's why. All three are working together. It's an agenda. Yes, I feel the same way, man. That's kind of my point of this video right now. I feel like, man, they're all doing DRM right now, especially Nintendo. Nintendo was never about DRM, even without Iwata. Now they're all seem to be working on the one frequency. They're all charging $80 games. They're all raising the price of the games. They're all anti-consumer. They're all anti-developer. They're all anti-developer by putting even whatchamacallit, the guy that created Smash Brothers was talking about we need AI now to make our games. What's his name? What's the guy that makes the Smash Brothers games? You guys love him so much. I think he's a complete weirdo. What's his name? He looks like Michael Jackson. Sakurai? Is that his name? Sakurai? Yeah. Do you know who Gilgamesh is? Gilgamesh. In the Bible? Only because it has Xbox on it and maybe sell a bit better than other handhelds, but I don't see it doing better than the GameCube. Better than other handhelds. I don't think this thing is going to be able to get off the ground, man. With Microsoft being completely anti-consumer, anti-developer, anti-gamer, I do see this, which is crazy to say. I see a lot of positive coverage from the gaming media now. That's crazy to say that the gaming media is as less. When Xbox was so pro gamer with the Xbox 360 by giving us JRPGs, racers, fighting games, exclusives, cross game chat, the Western gaming media was so angry with Microsoft. Right now they do a whole 360, and they're completely anti-gamer, anti-consumer, anti-developer. Now, gaming review sites are gargling their something weird is going on right now, man. Something strange is going on, and they distracted us with Activision and women and you know people of color, and they distracted us. They did something and then they distracted us.
Linux on all of my personal systems, and I never looked back. Of course, as many pointed out after PewDiePie did the same thing, Windows is still needed for some games, so I created a dual boot machine for those cases. Incidentally, this line, the freedom of Windows, freedom? Windows 11 is forcing you to have separate accounts so they can track everything you do. Doesn't feel very free.
Wow.
And they are leaving a lot of their Windows 10 users behind because they require a chip to be installed on the motherboard in order for you to upgrade.
Wow.
Microsoft, you do you, but freedom is literally the last thing I would use to describe the Windows operating system.
Whoa. Let's listen to that again.
Xbox was already built.
Wow, I didn't even think about that, man. It's not freedom of anything, man. There's nothing freedom about. Sarah Bond was talking about all this freedom and freedom, the freedom to do with the freedom, and we're not really free. I'm starting to feel like the freedom, when you hear freedom coming from the mouths of these vampires, I'm starting to feel like we're not really free.
This piece of hardware. Just like the original Xbox, it's built on Windows, a slimmed down version of Windows, but it's still Windows. So this isn't something new. And let me just admit my bias here. I don't like Windows. When I left Microsoft, I installed Linux on all of my personal systems, and I never looked back. Of course, as many pointed out after PewDiePie did the same thing, Windows is still needed for some games, so I created a dual boot machine for those cases. Incidentally, this line, the freedom of Windows, freedom? Windows 11 is forcing you to have separate accounts so they can track everything you do.
Wow.
Doesn't feel very free.
Wow.
And they are leaving a lot of their Windows 10 users behind because they require a chip to be installed on the motherboard.
Whoa. Bro. Whoa, we're being chipped. That's straight out of the Illuminati handbook. They're chipping us. They're watching us. They're following our every moves. The gaming media is even glazing Nintendo now. Yeah, RJ. Raphael Pavani, I'm from Plainfield, New Jersey, baby. Home of the Parliament and the Funkadelics. P-Funk, baby. Also, other talented people, a lot of talented artists came out of Plainfield. But anyway, the funk was created in Plainfield. The funk is what created hip hop. Anyway, they're chipping us now. They're watching us. We got to trade 2 different accounts. She just said that. We're being watched. It's not free. Microsoft sounds like I was watching the movie Sinners. Go back and watch the movie Sinners. Listen to the words that the vampires were saying, man. The thing is, the Microsoft fans fell right into the vampiric trap. If the vampires, if the Microsoft fans had a juke joint, they invited everybody to the juke joint, man, and then Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond and what's the Indian guy's name? They showed up there smiling, talking about, hey, we're here to come make things better. We're here to bring unity. We're here to make it more freedom, and the freedom of this and the freedom of that. Here at Microsoft, man, we don't believe in racism. Here at Microsoft, we don't believe in sexism. Here at Microsoft, we don't believe in discrimination, right? Y'all done invited these motherfuckers in, man, and now they're biting necks and eating people. Go back and watch the movie Sinners, man. I know you guys are thinking, man, that's a black movie and things like that. I'm telling you, man, the message is so deep, man. Whenever these people come around you smiling, talking about we need to get rid of discrimination, right? I remember when the mother sucking the Michael B. Jordan character was like, "Yeah, man, you guys are on some racist stuff." Whoa, hold on now. Whoa, these are killers, man. These are vampires, dude. They eat people, man. So, whoa. And it was offensive to him to call him a racist. Whoa, man, what are you doing? What are you talking about? A racist? A racist? No, sir. No, sir. All we believe is coming together, man. Unity, love. And that's what happens to the Microsoft fans, man. They got bitten, man. You can't tell the Microsoft fans nothing. Back in the day, you used to talk to the Microsoft fans. You could sit down with a Microsoft fan. You used to discuss things with Microsoft. You can't even talk to them no more, man. They have been bitten. They're gone. They're gone. Bow. They're lying. Yeah. Brazil here, Xbox with Game Pass saves us here. I think you've been bitten, Rafael Pavani from Brazil, because aren't they like raising prices over there? Raising the game prices over there? That's why you guys have to go to Game Pass? I believe Microsoft and PlayStation has risen the prices over there. Prices are so extreme out there that you have no choice. And they have been practicing these tactics overseas for for a few years now, where you will hear about Microsoft and PlayStation raising prices of games over there. I believe that article just came out. They're raising the prices even more over there in Brazil. So, and I believe she did talk about it already, where these rising prices are going to force you to submit to the Game Pass. If you look at like anime prices are ridiculous for the physical stuff. They're charging, they'll do one season. Well, they'll split the two seasons in half. And they'll be like, yo, the one season will have 12 episodes. Well, it have 24 episodes, but they'll split it in half between 12. And they'll charge you $59, damn near $70. Damn near $70 for part one of season one.
Score limited time.
Jesus Christ, man. Why this thing keep going to sleep on me?
Your favorite snacks and drinks at Wawa.
And that's and it's like, I think they're going to be, and then that's what makes you go, you know what? Except for me spending all this money, let me just go to Crunchyroll, was $11.99 a month. You know what I mean? $7.99 a month. I don't think Crunchyroll is too expensive at all. But you come there and you get access to all the animes. You can get all the anime. Screw buying the Blu-rays, man. Come on down. You can get all the anime you want for $11.99. You know? Better to buy games and consoles. Yes. I just saw an article, Rafael, brother. I just saw it. My Brazilian brother. I just saw it. See, that's why you asked me if I was Brazilian, because we look similar, right? No, I'm an African American. Always buy physical, always buy Blu-ray. Yes. I'm telling you, man, these vampires are all over, man. They done took over. We allowed it. We allowed our fanboyism. They used our fanboyism against us to enter the juke joint. For those of us who are intelligent, like Zobi70, who is a fan of gaming, I am part of nobody's team. I'll turn on you in a second. But if you're doing the right thing, I'm there. I'm with you. We're solid. But somebody with enough wisdom, and somebody tried to come to me and try to run oh my God, this is bad over there. Oh my God, it's so bad over here. It's so bad over there. And I'm looking at you like this. But what you about to do? You about to bite my neck? Go back and watch the movie Centers if you haven't.
Freedom is literally the last thing.
Freedom is the last thing.
The Windows operating system.
Yeah.
So
She knows.
Xbox was already built on Windows. I don't see that that's really a big selling point. But that's okay, because it's really about the games.
Yo, hold on.
Halo, will it be the
This is, I just saw a comment, but it reminded me of something. Yay Moochie, they took that $8 back after Mario Kart, Donkey Kong Bonanza is 70, and Pokemon AZ. Now, Mario Kart is still $80. And Donkey Kong was already going to be $70. Now, y'all forgot the initial plan. This was on the Nintendo website. The initial plan was to charge us, was it $90 for Mario Kart? For the physical version? Remember that? That was on the Nintendo website, that they were going to charge us more for the physical. This feels like, I've been saying this for a long time, and I'm not trying to take any of the blame away from Nintendo, but I feel like Microsoft has got them. Something strange is going on. Somebody came to Nintendo and tapped them on the shoulder. Something strange is going on. They retracted on that. They reneged on that. Yeah. All here is freedom, 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 which is a lie. Yeah. Whenever you start hearing people say freedom, black people ain't even free. We're still slaves. People, freedom. She's going to say something in this video that I'm going to rant on when it pertains to the anti-consumerism that happened over there at Microsoft and a lot of these gaming developers. But like, yo, they were planning on charging us $90 for Mario Kart, the physical version. And they were going to charge us $80 for the Donkey Kong game. Donkey Kongy. They were going to charge us $80 for the physical. They reneged. They jumped back on that. But it was on the Nintendo website, so it wasn't like it was some type of AI. It wasn't a meme. It wasn't some type of trickery. This was the real deal, man. This was gearing us up for some type of subscription service. Just like I was talking about with the anime. Charging you $60 to $70 for part one of an anime. That's ridiculous. Something's going on, fellas. Let's pay attention. Come on.
Is there going to be a game so compelling that it drives me to adopt this new handheld?
No.
Well, here's the problem. Xbox doesn't do exclusives anymore. Even if Xbox delivers a crazy great game, Xbox Anywhere means that I can play that game on any platform. I can play it on Xbox or PC. I may even be able to play it on the PS5 or the Switch. So why would I buy the ROG Ally? And of course, delivering a killer game in a reasonable time frame isn't something Xbox is particularly good at right now. During the showcase, there were several games still in development that weren't even mentioned, like State of Decay 3, Perfect Dark, and Fable.
Where are those games
at? These games have been in development over 5 years.
Wow.
There's only one reason these games are behind. It's because Xbox have lost their culture of shipping at scale. They don't have the people or the process in place that can ship. And it's a shame because they used to do better than anyone in the business. Recently, Microsoft announced that they were going to be doing layoffs. A lot of people are speculating that it's going to be the sales division, but I'm not so sure. I think that if I was working on one of the games that didn't make the showcase, or if I was in the Xbox hardware team, I would be worried. So there isn't going to be any killer game that drives me to buy this handheld. And that's okay, right? Because Xbox Anywhere means that I'm going to be able to play all my Xbox games and PC games on my handheld. And that right there could be a big selling point. Except it looks like that might not be the case. There's been some confusion on this point, but from what I can tell, pure Xbox is correct. You won't be able to play native Xbox games, only native PC games. This isn't great, in my opinion. If Xbox Anywhere means I should be able to play all my games on the handheld device, then darn it, I want to play all of my games, not just my PC games. Further on in the article, they say, let's hope we might get native console games in the future, but it's not something we're expecting right now. Think of the ROG Xbox Ally as a Windows 11 gaming PC with Xbox-specific features, because that's basically what it is. If you don't have a big budget, why not just buy a PC? They're not that expensive if you build it yourself. And you'll have Windows 11, just like the handheld, and you'll be able to play all of your PC games. If you want a handheld, skip the PC and buy a Steam Deck, or some of the other handhelds with SteamOS on them. It's built on Linux, so no Windows 11, and it's cheap compared to most of the handhelds out there. And that brings up one other possibility to consider. Maybe it's price. Maybe Xbox and Asus are going to undercut the market by making this a very inexpensive handheld. I personally don't think this is likely to happen. Remember, the Xbox ROG Ally is essentially a reskin of an existing product. Their cheapest version of the ROG Ally is around $600. I assume that both Xbox and Asus don't want to lose a lot of money on this new device. Asus is great at hardware, and I'm sure they have already done the cost reduction on the handheld. You see, with hardware, the post-launch plans are almost more important than building the initial product, because in hardware, the game is price reduction of all of the parts, because then you can make a profit in years 2, 3, and 4 of your console. The ROG Ally has already been through this process, so it's very unlikely the price is going to be the thing that they will be able to lower. It's unlikely to be the thing that brings gamers to buying the handheld. The Xbox Anywhere message sounds great on the surface, but in reality, it's just marketing. It's style with no substance. Unfortunately, I don't think marketing is going to be enough. There's literally no reason to buy this handheld.
I was just talking about the marketing.
Obviously, as one of the founding members of the Xbox team, I'm not pleased with where things are today.
Yeah.
I don't love watching all of the value that I helped create slowly get eroded away.
Wow.
I'm sad because from my perspective, it looks like Xbox has no desire or literally can't ship hardware anymore.
Yeah.
So this partnership is about a slow exit from the hardware business completely. Personally, I think
that's sad. That's sad. Oh my God, that's so sad. She's one of the original founding members of Microsoft and Xbox. And Phil Spencer and Nishet Naduza. What's the guy that runs Microsoft? Microsoft now, quote unquote, runs Microsoft. Sarah Bond. They're just completely destroying, the reasons why we fell in love with Xbox in the first place, And it's sad. What's even more sad is that the modern Xbox fans, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care about what brought them there. All they care about, I don't think they really can care. They got bite marks on the side of their neck. They're nothing more than just useless slaves, zombies, who is going to sit here and just condone such travesty that's happened over there at Microsoft. These people that work at Microsoft, they're horrible. They're horrible. They're horrible individuals, horrible people. I don't care if they're smiling. I don't care if they're gamers. I don't care if they used to work at T-Mobile. I don't care. Look what they're doing to the brand. It's a joke. It's a joke. It wouldn't happen, though, if the Xbox fans would stand up and say that this isn't cool. Shout out to the ones who have spoke up. Salute to them. But sadly enough, it's not enough. It's real sad, man. Real sad.
Xbox hardware is dead.
Yeah. It's a joke.
The plan appears to be to just drive everybody to Game Pass. And let's be clear, it has a lot of value.
Yo, Sereno, what's up?
That might be why they decided to charge $80 for Outer Worlds 2.
Oh my
The
God.
developers have been clear that they didn't make that decision.
Oh my God.
And here's the thing, maybe it will work. Xbox has a deep portfolio. The remake of Oblivion is obviously a huge success, and they can continue to outsource that work to external companies and make a lot of money releasing their older games. Older games from an era when...
Yeah, man, that's the plan for everybody right now. Square Enix is currently doing that. But that is the current plan, is to take the old games and repackage them and reselling them to make that money back. And that's what the Oblivion remaster was all about. And I see that happening to a lot of the Xbox titles, older Xbox titles, where it's just going to be, Oblivion was an Xbox 360 exclusive. That's probably the only way they're going to be able to make some money, is by remastering a lot of the older games and importing them to other platforms. It's going to work. It's going to work. But when it comes to their new games, no, 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 no. Nobody's going to buy that garbage. Especially if it's in the direction of what I saw at that last conference. Ugly black women, feminist games, LBGT. No, it's not going to work. Crappy shooters that nobody's going to play. Games that have been announced and it takes them over 10 to 20 years to even make. It's ridiculous.
Xbox knew how to build them. But what is the long-term plan? Where are the new hits? What will make people care about the Xbox 25 years from now? I was excited to see Clockwork Evolution in the showcase, but will something like that be enough? Do they have more? Next year marks the 25th anniversary
What's Clockwork
of the
Evolution?
Xbox, and I'm sure that they will have some big announcements and plans for honoring the milestone. Maybe next year is the year. Maybe next year is the year that the fog will clear and all of us will see the beauty in these latest announcements. I guess we'll just have to
She's got a video here of why Xbox lost, and there's a picture of Phil
wait and
Spencer.
see.
Yeah, I think Phil
If you
Spencer
like
is the
this
reason why
video,
as well.
you might be interested in another
She's got a picture of, it's a title, it's called Why Xbox Lost, and it's a picture of Phil Spencer. Yeah,
video I did called Why
yeah, I
Xbox
believe,
Lost.
yeah.
In it, I talk about all the cultural changes that led to what you're seeing today.
Yeah, Phil Spencer and his regime, man. What a loser. What a freaking loser. I called him out years ago, man. He shot a ban my channel because I was calling him out. And then he got that Paris 696 guy, 666, and then got him to come attack me. Yeah. What a loser. I remember Zoe had the fro. Yeah. Misreaction.
Welcome back to NBA Cinema Guys. So I want to talk a little.
Oh, God. Misreactions to those insane videos, but more and more garbage from these game companies. Zobi, we need the 2011 you back. Yeah. Buying multiple consoles was special for us as gamers. Oh, yeah, man. I was just asking a guy, I asked him a trick question, and he got it right. I was like, what was you? Because he was playing he was streaming a Sega Genesis RPG, and back then I didn't know anything about RPGs, man. I didn't get on until Pokemon and Final Fantasy VII, and I said, I asked him what was his favorite out of the two, Sega Dreamcast or the Super Nintendo, and he said I liked them both. For real, yo, it was so dope. It was so dope to flip back and forth, man. It was so dope to switch out the Nintendo to the Super Nintendo, if I knew about the games back in the day, I didn't know any about too many games. I didn't know about Final Fantasy VI. I didn't know about Final Fantasy 3 or Final Fantasy 4. Or, you know what I mean? I didn't know about the saga. No, not saga. Shining Force and Shining Force 2. I didn't know about those things until modern times. But if I did, my gaming experience would have been even better. It would have been even better. Back then, I was playing platformers, Metroid, Zombies Ate My Neighbors, Tiny Toons. I don't know. I was just playing stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, back then it was great. Sega had more of a raw appeal to it. Mortal Kombat, you put a code in, you were able to get the blood. The sports games were better on the Sega Genesis, but Super Nintendo had more of a kooky and quirky, adventurous type vibe to it. Zelda, that was great. Link to the Past, that was phenomenal. Sonic had, Sega had the Sonic the Hedgehog series and things like that. Even while his death is looking more and more suspect. Yo, RJ, man. I talked about that years ago on a podcast. I was like, I don't know, this death thing just doesn't sit well with me. You know what I mean? Something. Did the mob get to him? Did Sony get to him? You know what I mean? I don't want to put stuff on people. You know what I'm saying? But why his death just seems very suspicious. And with him falling, it just how with him, like the day that he fell is the day these companies just got extremely anti-consumer, extremely anti-consumer. The things that are happening, I wish he was alive today, man, because I would love to chronicle his wisdom, man. He would have been infuriated. He would have been infuriated by. But you know, the Japanese, they have a way of a kind of a passive aggressive way of saying things that displease them. You know, it's always Japanese Americans. We can get on the mic and we could just say this is crap, this is trash. But the Japanese, they have such a passive aggressive way of this, you know, voicing their displeasure that I have to learn to master. You know what I mean? I have to learn to master that. Being more passive aggressive. Just last week, Miyamoto, no, the artist of the Final Fantasy games. Ah man, what's his name? It's hard for me to say his name anyway. But he was like, yeah, you know, Final Fantasy died after Sakaguchi left. But he said it in such a pleasing way that you can't really be mad. You know what I'm saying? It died. His direction, as soon as he left, his direction was just completely gone. But you know, things are getting better, which they're not. I don't know why he said things are getting better over there at Square Enix. That was just a way to be passive aggressive. It's not getting better at all. Not at all. Yoshikata Omono. No, what the guy that did the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack and the Xanarkin Ruin soundtrack for Final Fantasy X. Nobuo Uematsu, something like that. Switch to Welcome Tour would have been packed in with the game. Yeah, yeah. Well, actually, no. Iwata wanted to. The idea of packing the game Wii Sports was actually Reggie's idea, according to Reggie. Iwata and the other guys, Miyamoto, they didn't understand that. Nobuo Uematsu, thank you. Yeah, just last week and a lot of the guys from back in the day, they just have a very clever passive aggressive way of taking shots. You know what I mean? Like that Caucasian woman, she was just upfront and real with it, man. It's complete trash. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. What will work for Microsoft is it would have worked for this generation for Microsoft was to offer just exclusive games, you know? If that goddamn Oblivion remaster was exclusive to the Xbox Series X, if the Game Pass and the exclusives, now it's taken them a very long time to release games, but I think Microsoft is banking on firing a lot of the employees and relying on AI. So I'm guessing they believe that's going to make their games come out faster. But yeah, man, it's not looking good. Reggie was right. Yeah, Reggie was the one that said, "Let's bundle the Wii Sports," and took off. Took off. The Japanese have a fancy way of saying this is dog crap. Yeah, man, they're very good at that. But yeah, I'm confused. I'm seriously confused on what's going on over there, Mike. I'm not confused at all. I know that what they're doing is they're just finding clever ways to become more and more anti-consumer. That's it. Whatever you're hearing, freedom of play this here, do this, that, there. This is an Xbox, that's an Xbox. It just means we're taking the power away from you, and we want all the power in our hands if you decide to join our ecosystem. That's all that is. I gotta go run, but I'll watch this later. All right, Wisdom, take it easy, brother. Salute. Their enabler, not confusing. Yeah, Xbox is dead. It's been dead, man. I don't know anybody that's rocking with Xbox. I don't, especially in the real world. It's Nintendo. I went to the store the other day. A black woman parked the car up to the side of the thing. She came out with scantily clad clothes on. And whenever I see a woman purposely wearing scantily clad clothes, I do my best not to look at them. I can see it on my peripheral, or I might, the initial shock or reaction, I might see it, but I'll just do my best for them to not see me. You know what I mean? Because I want to let them know that doesn't get me going. She opened up. I'm over there looking. They put all the Nintendo Switch games in the front now. I remember they used to be in the back. I mean, like the Nintendo Switch games are literally like you open the door and it's right there. Pow! You know what I mean? Like 1 centimeter away from the crack of the. I'm not lying. I should have recorded this. They literally put the Nintendo Switch games 1 centimeter away from the door opening. You know what I mean? That was on purpose. Because I remember the Nintendo Switch games were in the front, but then GameStop did a deal with Xbox. So they pushed all the Nintendo Switch games to the back, and they put all the Xbox games to the front. And I thought that was bad business. You're walking into a GameStop, and you see all these Xbox games, and then the next row over is the PlayStation game. You don't even think you're in a GameStop. Y'all think I'm lying by the Nintendo Switch games being 1 centimeter away. I'm about to go do a video, and I'm gonna take a picture and I'm gonna record it and everything. 1 centimeter from the crack of the door. Yo, you walk into an Xbox back when they had the Xbox in front, you didn't even know you were in a GameStop. This is a true story. I'm walking to GameStop, right? It says GameStop right on the top. I open the door, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm seeing stuff. I'm seeing all these toys and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my god, is this not X? I had to do a double take because I didn't think I was at GameStop. I was like, what? You know what I mean? Back in the day, you used to walk into a game store or a GameStop. You knew you were at the way that they displayed that mother sucker. You knew you was at GameStop. It was nothing but just pure access to games. Now I literally walked in and walked back out and then walked to my car because I thought I was lost. I had to pull up the GPS. I was like, where am I? Did I even come? Where did I come? It was GameStop the whole time. So they had to move the Nintendo Switch games back to the front, bro. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It don't feel like GameStop, right? Man, I remember I used to go into GameStop, man. You were literally just surrounded by games, man. Oh, man, GameStop was lit back in the day. I used to go to GameStop every single day. Every day. I used to leave my work. I was doing security in Phoenix, Arizona. I was doing security overnight and in the mid shift as well. And I would literally drive to the 24-hour Walmart, get me some snacks and things of that such, and then I would wait for GameStop to open. Stop at GameStop, look and see what games they had. Wow, it was just a bevy of games. Oh man, what's you come up, what is this? What's this? It's twinking it. Wow, that's how I got put up on a lot of these Japanese games. Because I was just going in and just exploring. Oh, what's this? This is hot. What's this? What's this? The Sky? All right, cool. I'm gonna grab. What is this? Rune Factory? All right, cool. I'm gonna pick this up. What is this? GameStop nowadays has very eerie aura about it, but one guy working in the store who can't even hold eye contact with you, type of guy you need to check his hard drive. Yeah. The thing I used to hate when I entered the GameStop, I was just talking to my girl about this. The thing I used to hate the most about going to the GameStop, no matter the generation, was when there was a woman behind the cashier. Oh my God. When I was in the one in Arizona, there used to be this white girl. She was a monster. I used to be like, oh, God. You know what I mean? Like, oh, damn. Every time I came across a woman working at GameStop, it was always just a blood-curdling experience. I was just like, man, I remember one time the kid came came with a game. It's the right thing to do, but I just didn't like the cut of her jib, man. The kid came. He was a nice little Caucasian kid. He was a good kid. Hey, ma'am, I would like to buy. He was all talking intelligent as he was. He was trying to make himself seem older by talking so intelligent. Hey, ma'am, I would like to pick up this copy of the game right here. And he slapped it down. It was Grand Theft Auto or something like that. And she looked at him and looked at the game. No, this is M-rated. You can't get this. Oh, I am so sorry. Thank you. And then he walked off. She was just real snappy with the kids. She was snappy with everybody, yo. I did not like her. I used to get so mad when I would come in GameStop and she was working. You were walking and she was just like this the whole time. It wasn't like she was bothering you. Like what do you need anything? You know what I'm saying? It was just like whenever you came up to her, yeah, would you like to pre-order the? No. Why not? What do you mean, why not? I don't like Madden. You know what I mean? I don't want to play no goddamn Madden. I would trade in some games. Why are you trading this in? On the front of the goddamn GameStop, it says trade your used games in. I like this game. This is a good game. I don't know why you trade. Like everything was always like snappy. A lot of the girls do that. Every time I had an interaction with a girl, I was coming in the drink, traded in a stack of games. I don't know why. I was dumb at the time. They would always, I don't know this game, right? Just when I traded some games the other day, the girl was very pleasant. She was looking like a Caucasian girl, but her arms were mad hairy, so I knew she was Hispanic. I knew she was a Hispanic with all that hair. I was like, God, damn, all that hair on her arm. But they always do that. Oh my God, I like this game. You're trading this in? Did you play it? I'm like, who gives a goddamn it? The thing says, can I trade in my games or not? I remember I was trading in not Fire Emblem Awakening, but the game that came after Fire Emblem Awakening, I wasn't really rocking with it. I was like, man, you're trading this in? Why? It's a good game. I was just like, sorry. I used to ask the Sasquatch type of games, Sasquatchiest types of games they were into. It also very horrible game taste. Those women, I used to piss them off telling what good games are. Yeah, man, I really didn't have I don't really have too many conversations with the lady. I remember some black kids came in there. They were trading in their PlayStation 3, and it was just a Hispanic girl who thought she was a lot flyer than what she really was. A lot of these women do. They got those really nasty attitudes. They think that they're flyer than they really are, right? But she was like, she had a stomach and everything. And like my bro, Solo, he's against rizzing. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't believe in rizzing because he believes it's filling up the heads of the women and it's giving them egos, right? I'm not against that, but if I was to rizz, I wouldn't rizz a girl with a big stomach or some type of major looking flaw. That's the problem. Is if you're gonna rizz yourself a baddie. Don't rizz up a girl that looks crazy and then inflate her ego, and then she goes around here thinking that she's better than what she really is. That's the problem. Now, if the chick is bad, I'm pretty sure she's already been told she's bad before. She knows she's bad, and you're not really inflating the ego, But a lot of us, we get to inflating these weirdo looking chicks, man. They got one eye over here, one eye here. They look crazy. And then they take it to the extreme. They're the ones that take it to the extreme. Anyway, these black kids came in with the PlayStation 3, and it was dusty. You know what I mean? It was dust on it. She looks at it and goes, I can't take this. It's got dust on it. I was like, that's the first. I didn't know that was the policy. You know what I mean? So the kids go, all right, screw you. And they grab their PlayStation 3 and they go to the other GameStop that's down the road. This big belly chick picks up the phone and calls the other GameStop and says, don't take the PlayStation 3. I didn't take it because there was dust on it. Only a woman. Only a woman could do these type of weird type of stuff. Men, we come to the GameStop as a place. It's kind of like the barbershop a little bit, a place to just, be masculine and be ourselves. But if you ever go to the barber shop and the fellas are talking one way, yo, I had this girl last night. I was pile driving and I busted off in her face, right? And all of a sudden a woman walks in with her son. All of a sudden the conversation changes. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel like when we go to GameStop and there's a woman there, the energy shifts. The energy's not right, It's like, oh, all right. Damn. It's like if you're in the kitchen making a sandwich and then somebody comes in the kitchen and, just in the way, What you got there? Pickles? Yeah. That's female behavior. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Women expect you to change up too when they enter the room. They expect the conversation to change as well. A lot of women expect that. Expect, when I come in, you better be talking proper where I'm in here. You know what I mean? Because if you try to, you be talking with your fellas, and if you go somewhere, you be watching a podcast, and the guy that talks how he feels and blah, 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 the women get real uncomfortable on the podcast. He's not talking the way I want him to talk. The energy shifts, and that's how I feel when I go into GameStop. When there's all fellas there, I'll be like, yeah. And that's why I get thrown off when there's a bitch-made dude up in there. Can I help you? I just walked in here. You wanna pre-order Madden? No, I don't play Madden. I don't want to pre-order nothing. Women weren't just meant to be in a man's environment outside of the original purpose. It wasn't. The thing was, I agree with you 100%, Kyrie, because women weren't into this stuff. They weren't. We got clowned for being into these things. You know what I'm saying? Video games. You know what I mean? But once the corporations found a way to get the women involved to make more money, it went downhill, man. It all went downhill. You want to pre-order? Yeah, you want to pre-order GTA 6? No, I don't want to pre-order goddamn GTA. I don't want to pre-order. Yeah, I used to hate that when they tried to get me to pre-order something. I'm like, no, I don't want to. And then they see you like kooky and quirky games, so they start going down the list to try to find the kooky and quirky. There's Animal Crossing. No thanks, buddy. They want the attention. It's a sense of I don't know. It's Western. What you call that? Western programming, if you will. You know what I mean? The West wants to have women in control because it's easier to sell products to those people, to a feminine mindset. You know what I mean? Back in the days, they wouldn't even allow women to even buy anything unless there was a man around. You know what I mean? Women would come up into the store, looking to buy a television, and they'd be like, "Is your husband?" And like, where's your husband at? So the corporations, they said, you know what? We need to make some more money because they're bringing their husbands in, and their husbands are denying the purchases. We need to make money. So, by having everybody with a more feminine mindset means that you're just going to spend, and spend. You know what I mean? That's the way they want it in the West. In the East, it's a lot different. They still hold on to their traditional roots of having the man control the home. But here in the West, women can get away with basically murder as long as they continue to keep spending. One Piece, Monkey D. Luffy. They should be washing dishes. I'm not saying all that. I could wash. I believe men should be washing their own dishes. I believe men should be cooking their own foods and they're cooking their own meals. I believe men should be doing their own cleaning. I think that's something men should be doing. You know what I mean? You know why? Because it takes the control out of the woman's hand. A lot of y'all fall for the bull crap. A woman will come in and start cleaning and cooking and stuff like that. That gives her control. But if you can say, I don't need you, I can do my own cooking. I don't need you, I can do my own cleaning. I can do my own whatever. You've taken all the control away. Ain't nothing a woman can tell you. Y'all need to get away from that woman needs to do this and woman needs to do that. I'm telling you, you got so much more power. If she comes to your house and it's already clean, you know what I mean? She comes to your house and you already got food prepared in your fridge. Damn, that's a flex. I'm watching a lot of these videos now, man. A lot of guy videos are creating these videos complaining about women, this and that and the third, man. And I just can't relate. Yes, I understand there's a lot of that comes with dealing with the woman. I know, I understand, I get that. But I could never let it bother me. Once I start to see those red flags, I'm like, okay, you can leave because I'm cool by myself. That's why they want to take away our video games from us, fellas, huh? That's why they're trying to LBGT and feminize our games. They don't want us being happy. I am fine with a woman who generally loves to game and actually knows somewhat of what she's talking about, but disingenuous women are the issue. Yeah, me too, man. Let's not get the game twisted, man. There's some women out here that get down for their crown. There's a lot of women out here that play those games. My sister, both of my sisters play their video games. They love their video games, and they're good. I think the youngest one is better than me when it comes to the video games, man. She'll get on that video game and she'll understand it and master it and get mad if she's lost, you know? I remember it took me a while to learn how to do the rock band and the Guitar Hero, you know what I mean? And my sister picked it up and got it just like that, you know what I mean? My sister, I remember years ago, my sister asked me to come in the room to come help her to beat some game. And, you know, I'm playing it and I'm horrible. It was some type of, what was it called? Chicken Little? Some type of Disney game. You know, man, I got you time about to get on this, man. Let me show the kids how to do it. So I'm getting on it and I'm dying and my sister's looking like, you know what I mean? Just give it the damn controller. She grabs the controller and she's got Chicken Little sliding and jumping and collecting, and I'm like, oh snap, yo, I'm trash. Yeah, I remember sister got it like that. At first she was a little frustrated, and then I said, you know, Top, what's going on? And then she just, you know, she gave you that. What the hell are you doing? Yeah. She asked me to beat one of the bosses on Cat in the Hat. I was doing pretty good, but then the boss got me, and I was like, oh, sorry, Todd. So, yes, there are girls out there, and I'm not just saying that because she's my sister. She really gets down for her crown, man. She gets busy. But, yeah, I don't like when, you know, the whole feminism aspect, you know, I don't think that has anything to do with women. I just think that's some type of demonic agenda that really harms women more than it harms men. Cat in the Hat, my little cousin had that game for the PS2, yep. She wanted me to beat the boss. I was doing pretty good at first. I got waxed. But yeah, fellas, there's no better flex than taking care of your own. Even if you have a little small little space, man, you can have like a little bit of a, you can have a closet, but keeping that bad boy stylized, get you a mini fridge and have it stacked with all types of snacks and goodies. She can't tell you nothing, man. Don't ever put nothing on no female or nobody, to be honest. But please don't be like, yo, you should be cooking and cleaning and all that crap. I don't give a damn if you work 2 jobs, go to the gym, hire a maid. I'd rather hire a maid than to put the power into a girl I'm dating. Yeah, it was a cat in the hats game. Google it. I was doing all right at first, but I lost. She couldn't beat the boss, and I couldn't beat him either. Huh. But yeah, man, I don't know what's going on in Microsoft. I know, but I don't know why they think this is going to work. None of their ideas have worked. In the last, since 2011, it was over to 10 years now. Damn. Damn. Most feminism never hold accountability. Yeah, but that's a given. But why would you want to? You know, to be honest with you, why would you want somebody else to be accountable, man? The only person you should be accountable for in 2025 is yourself. If the chick ain't doing right, man, just get rid of her and get another one. It sounds terrible, but hey, in 2025, man, you gotta be focused on yourself, man. It's a dirty game out here, fellas. I love it though. I love it, man. There's nothing better, nothing more better than just getting up and just doing you. There was a shift in 2000. Remember the whole world ending stuff. It did just not in the physical sense. Diablo, I was just watching videos today. That's crazy, Diablo. You said that. I was just watching videos today about this Mandela effect and the collider scope. The what is it called? It's some type of machine they got. I heard about this machine years ago, and they got this dancing Shiva in front of them, in front of the machine. And I guess they turn it on, and it's got enough power to like change molecules and things of that such. And they said that there was some type of malfunction with this kaleidoscope thing. You know what I mean? And it was able to conjoin the worlds, the parallel. We had like parallel universes, and the thing was able to combine both universes. So now we have, and I talked about this years ago, not even knowing that this was a real thing. But like the two worlds fused together, and it's creating this Mandela effect where certain people that grew up in like my generation, the 80s and the 90s, were able to remember things that we didn't notice back in the day to now. It was so many things from the Bernstein Bears. I remember being the Bernstein Bears to Jiffy. It was never called Jiffy. It's Jif. The Fruit of the Loom. You look at the Fruit of the Loom and you see a bunch of fruit, but there also used to be this basket behind it. But that's not there anymore. Shaggy having an Adam's apple. Sinbad doing a genie movie. It's like certain things you remember, but it never happened. E.T. phone home. He never said that. He said home phone. I was like, what? You never said that? Luke, Darth Vader saying, Luke, I'm your father or something like that. That was changed up. And I remember on 2012, I was with my family. Real talk. This is a true story. I told my sister this. She said she had the same dream. On 2012, when I went to sleep that night, I had a dream because we were at a hotel, and by the hotel was ocean. We were on a hotel on the beach, and I had a dream that the water. I was looking at the water, and it was coming over us, and it was coming to hit us. And I saw that, and I wasn't scared, and I was like, okay, um, here it comes. It's over. You know what I'm saying? I was just accepting my faith. And the water came, boom, and I woke up before the water hit, and it was the next day of 2012. So I was like, oh, that was an interesting dream. I told my sister, and she was like, man, I had something similar to that too. So yeah, a lot of people are saying that the world did end in 2012, just like Diablo was saying. And thus, a lot of things are just extremely weird, you know? Lion King, Powerpuff Girls, Aladdin, SpongeBob, TNT, Power Rangers, Danny Phantom, Teen Titans, Kim Possible, Scooby Doo, the list goes on. Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. It's very real, but a lot of people aren't ready for this type of conversation. Yeah, some type of something happened. I don't know if it was 2012 though. I just know I had that dream, but I believe things have changed from where I noticed and things were changing was after 2001, the whole 9/11 incident. That's when things have really changed, man. Right when those planes allegedly hit the towers, that's when things. That's where I noticed it was a big shift. They hit those twin towers or some type of frequency spot. They hit those towers, pow, and it caused some type of, you know. That's where I noticed a big change. That was the biggest change I've ever noticed, from going from the '90s on there. That's when things got weird. Sorry, chat room got quiet, man. I'm getting a little too deep. I could always tell when I'm going too far when the chat room gets quiet. You know what I mean? The chat room like this. You know what I'm saying? One of the biggest deceptions to their history, as well as one of the biggest scams. Now that whole flooding out theory, now that's real. My dream of this giant water coming in and flooding us out, that actually happened. But I didn't know about that until 2 or 3 years ago. It's the Tartarian theory. But, you know, the whole Tartarian theory about, if you guys know about that, is that there was a massive flood. But it all makes sense. It all lines up with a lot of my theories over the years. I'm getting too deep. Should I back down, guys? Should I just be quiet in the video and I don't have to worry about getting shadow banned? Or should I keep going about Tartaria? Listen, yo, the Tartarian thing, it aligns with a lot of things. And it wasn't that long ago. Well, I would say that it wasn't that long ago when they attempted to get rid of all of the Tartarian evidence. Because Tartarian just wasn't in Russia. You know what I'm saying? Well, where Russia is known today, that's where they're claiming Tartaria was at. But there was Tartarian architecture all over the goddamn world. And it was all burnt down in the mid to early 1800s in New York City, Chicago, San Francisco, all these big places. You know what I mean? Let me see if I saved that. It was a movie that talked about the Tartarian flood, but they did it so slick that you don't even catch it. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can find this. Should I stop, guys? Guys, I think I should stop because everybody's getting scared. Oh, I gotta show you this too, yo. I gotta show you this. I gotta show you this too. Dang. It's about like shooting fireballs. I always knew we could do that, yo. I always thought we could do with the when used to see Ryu doing the Hadoken, I always knew that we could do that. When I always saw Dragon Goku doing the Kamehameha blast, I always knew we can do that, yo. And I got physical evidence that we can. But let me find this clip of here it is. I found it. Now, hold on, but it all lines up because there was a flood. The Bible talks about a great flood. That's number one. The Bible talks about a great flood. So I see laughing emojis. All right, I'm out. People, they giggling down there, man. Let me go ahead and go. They all down there giggling and stuff. Let me go ahead and end the stream right here. They're just, yeah. But anyway, it all lines up. The great flood, the Bible, the Tower of Babel. We see that now, where they're trying to combine us all back together. And the God had a problem with that because we were building this great tower that was supposed to reach the heavens and reach God. And God was like, what the hell are these people doing? And he divided us, gave us all different languages to keep us separated. But now we're all more connected than ever with this new Tower of Babel called the internet, right? But the great flood happened. I believe that the great flood happened because of some type of technology, some type of tampered with technology. Before, wait a minute, where can I? It's all connected, right? I've seen pictures. These are all facts that ancient Egypt was under water, was under sand, and then they dug it out, right? I've seen pictures like you guys think that these things were built, but you never see pictures of these people building it. But I saw a picture of them digging the White House out of the sand. Now they said that you blackies, you slaves, we built the White House. That's technically true. But I saw a picture where they were digging the White House out of, because you know, when you have a flood, there's a mud that follows behind it, and the mud is boom. You know what I'm saying? It covers everything. And a lot of this stuff was covered up, but they just took it off. Now, if you go in your cities and your towns, you can go and see some of these ancient artifacts with old churches, old buildings. You go, damn, that building looks old as hell. What is that? What year was this born? And then they'll tell you the 1800s. It's remnants of the last world. Go back and watch the movie Dusk Till Dawn, the vampire movie. At the end, they show like a I'm telling you, man, it's wild stuff, man. Let me show you this, though. Let me show you this little girl talking about the mud floods in one of your old, ancient 1904 movies. This is old, right? I believe this is the woman Oz. She was a big-time actor at the time. She did a movie. I think this is in the World Fairs. The World Fairs. They're going to the World Fairs. Yo, I'm telling you, check this stuff out, man. I got so much. I'm all over the place, but listen, I'm gonna get on it. I'm gonna make sense in a second. Now check this out. This is a movie. They used to have World Fairs back in the day, right? And they said that the World Fairs were made out of paper mache. They were made out of rippy bits. They were made out of cardboard. They weren't real deal things. You know what I'm saying? But they would have these in Chicago and LA, in New York, they would have these extravagant world fairs. And they would get all dressed up in these extravagant outfits. And Donald Trump is talking about bringing back the world fairs. Check this out. Look at this. This is an old movie, right? Oh, damn, it's on me. Hold on. This is the World Fair. Look, listen to this little girl. Listen to this little girl.
Big waves came up and flooded the whole city. And when the water went back, it was all muddy and horrible, full of dead bodies.
This is a movie from 1904. This movie is more closer to the 1800s than it is today, right? This is a movie that talks about the mud floods, but they slip it in on the sneak tip. Look. One more time. The World Fair. Look. They put the World Fair in the movie. Look. Listen.
You spoil your dinner.
We saw the gallowboxes flood. Big waves came up and flooded the whole city. And when the water went back, it was all muddy and horrible, full of dead bodies.
I'm not sure if you guys heard that. I'm not sure if y'all heard that. Let me go to that movie. Let me go to the movie, right? They're saying the flood was so goddamn high. You know the pyramids in Egypt? Those are really obelisks. They're really just long as obelisks. Whatever that thing in Washington, you'll see the long, pointy, phallus looking thing. Look, bro, they're saying that the flood was that deep, man. Look. Hold on, what's that movie called? Dusk Till Dawn. And then, did I say that in my favorites? I should have, but let me just Is it called Dusk Till Dawn? Yeah, it's called Dusk Till Dawn. I hope they don't try to get me on this one. I'm just gonna say fair use just to get away from it. Fair use. Dusk Till Dawn ending. Hold on, guys. Okay. Look. It was just randomly put in the movie. It was a vampire movie, but at the end, they randomly just showed us that. Here it is right here. Look at this. Watch this. This is a vampire movie, but look. It's just weird. Look. Hey, Last Hyena, what's up, buddy? This is a vampire movie, but I don't want to show the movie. I just want to show you this ending where they're talking, they threw a mud flood reference in this bad boy. Oh, dang. All right, here we go. Look. Watch this. This is the ending, right? Now they're showing you this thing, right? They go, okay, that's the top of it. But then it stretches out to show you that under the mud, there's these giant monolithic sculptures. Giant monolithic sculptures under these things. So there's a world up under our world, guys. They always tell us some form of the truth in the movies. Yes, movies and television shows, when you go in there, you go in and you watch it as fiction. I go in there and watch it as scientific fact. You know what I mean? I'm going in and watching the new Iron Man, and I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? Bro, there's a world beneath our world right now, like under our ground. Now, these giant monolithic sculptures are all over the world. You know what I mean? Giant, huge. And it's just so much that goes with it. That they're saying that the people that build them, you know, the people who were running these monolithic societies were giant Negroes, giants, giant people. There were little people, and then you would have these giant people who were the offspring of the Anunnaki. I forgot what the term was. Are they the Anunnaki? They're the offsprings, and they would have 6 fingers and 6 toes, and they were huge. That's the reason why you would have these old buildings, and they would just be so big. They got these old buildings, and one of the movies, and a lot of your movies talk about this, and one of the most famous movies is your Transformers movies. Your Transformers movies, they went to every location where these ancient Negroes were at with every movie. And the first movie, it was dealing with Antarctica. In the second movie, they were dealing with Egypt. The third movie, they were on the moon. The fourth movie, they were in the what do you call that? King Arthur, the King Arthur times. They had Optimus Prime riding a dinosaur. That's all real stuff, man. They got that stuff on paintings. They got on ancient paintings. They got that stuff on ancient pottery of people riding on top of dinosaurs. But yeah, the world fairs. That little girl was going on there talking about how all the people got flooded out. It was a flood, and then the mud, and then there was dead bodies everywhere. These cities, these inhabitants were mostly inhabited mostly inhabited. Now, the rulers and the inhabitants of this world were mostly black people. But like the Bible says, it was a mixture of all different races, and then they were all divided. You know what I mean? So we were all conjoined together, but we had the giants, the black rulers, and a lot of the people who inhabit the cities now were kind of the cave creatures who kind of got away, were able to save themselves, and you would see them going to these ancient cities wearing these costumes, these big hats, outfits that don't look like they fit them right. They were clothing of the people of the past. They just came in and inhabited these cities. And then anybody who remembered the old world, they threw them in these psych wards that you don't see today. These people were sitting up there talking about the old world, and like, people are crazy as hell. Throw them in the psych ward. Started reteaching and rechanging history. I heard a thing, man, where Egypt was never where Egypt was. They just moved that stuff over there. Egypt was initially in America, in Arizona, in the Rocky Mountains. Not the Rocky Mountains. What's the, not the Rocky Mountains, the other one. What's that rock formation in Arizona? There was a Caucasian man who was looking for gold, and he found Egyptian artifacts in America. Nephilim. Yeah, the Nephilim. Thank you. Thank you. Anakim and the Rahim, descendants of the fallen angels. Then, yeah, you guys already know. You guys already know, man. Who am I? You know, it feels like it when you go to AZ. What is that place? Is it called the Rocky Mountains? No, it's the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon was initially Egypt, but they moved everything. There's actual footage of them moving ancient Egyptian artifacts in Egypt. The Caucasian man. So it's not like I'm just making it up. Oh, we was kings. No, we was kings in America. No, we were. No, I'm telling you, there's a Caucasian man uh, uh, Egypt. Hold on, let me see. He went into the caves and found Egyptian artifacts in America. But there's already Egyptian artifacts in America, but you're dealing with Southern America. But I'm talking about North America. You know what I mean? You ever notice that they never do any digging and artifact searching in America? You ever notice that? They do everything around America, but they never look up stuff in America because they want you to believe that Africa is the oldest place, but it's not. They want you to believe that everybody came from Africa, you know? Everybody came from Africa. Egypt in America. Let's see if I can find that. Ancient Aliens did a story on this. Oh, yeah, Egypt and Grand Canyon. There we go. Yeah. The ancientoid aliens. That's how I learned about that.
Did you know that there was a cave found in the Grand Canyon that predated Native Americans? In fact, it looked like it came from Egypt, and the Smithsonian denies it to this day, yet they funded the expedition. What? Yes. So 1908, this explorer, he wanted to go to the Grand Canyon to look for gold. He was going down one of the rivers and saw a mineral deposit about 2,000 feet up. Went up there and he saw some bushes or whatever, and he pushed the bushes aside, and it was a staircase that led up to clearly a man-made cave. Yeah. He walked in there and immediately it was like, what am I looking at? Because it looked like there was hieroglyphics all on the walls, and it was huge. And so he took some pictures, and then once the Smithsonian was like, can you fund me? We'll get a team out there to see what this is. So they went out there, and it was basically an underground city. It would have housed 50,000 people. What? The natives in that region, they talked about how they weren't the first people on the land, and that there was people actually before them. Those people were taught by the star people how to make weapons. Did you know that there was a cave?
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's all making sense now. You know what I mean? It's all making some type of sense. It's starting to feel like what we believe is fiction is actually the real deal. What science fiction is the real deal. This whole time we're watching the Transformers. We're watching Star Trek. We're watching Star Wars, and we think it's like the future. You know what I mean? We're thinking it's the future. We're thinking Star Wars or Star Trek is for the future. You know what I mean? The Terminator and all that. You know what I mean? Ninja Turtles. Yeah. Reptilians and stuff, you know? Coming to find out, man, you ever notice they keep telling the same story over and over again? Now they're retelling the same story over and over again, but just with women. You know what's coming after that. After they start telling all the same stories over and over again, it's going to be trans people next. You know what I mean? They keep telling the same story over and over. They literally did Black Panther and then followed it right back up with Black Panther 2, but then sprinkled the Mexicans in it and made it a woman. You know what I mean? Never watched that movie. Stupid. They don't even let you go in the Grand Canyon. You got to walk where they tell you to walk in the Grand Canyon. You get to walking in there and you will find the real Egypt. Yes, you will. It always takes place in the past. We stuck in the same circle. Yeah. Of course, it's always been the truth. They have to reveal the truth along with their agendas. It's what the Most High commands them to do. But yeah, man, we used to live on this planet, man. Stuff that you think was built. Because you see what they built today, and it's literally made out of rippy bits. It's made out of junk. But man, they got some stuff out here, man, it's so old and it's still standing strong. And it was from the old world. Lord knows how old this stuff was, man. And back then, we used to run off of like a energy source. We were able to command an energy source. We didn't need this is junk in comparison to what we had back in the day. We were able to gather the raw elements of the world. That's why when you would look at your RPGs, your Western RPGs, or if you look at your fantasy movies and things of that such, we knew how to command the elements with a staff. And you would see Merlin with a staff, and he was able to conjure up from that energy source, and he would be able to release all types of magic and stuff with his staff. We had a different energy source back then. This stuff that we have now is junk. Wi-Fi, these little wires and cords that they have to give us electricity, it's junk. We were able to command the elements, and we were able to make fireballs with our hands. Fireballs. Check this out. We knew how to tap into that frequency. It's all junk now. They purposely poison us with the foods. They purposely poison us with the Wi-Fi. They purposely poison us with the kinetic trails. Look at this. Look at this. Watch this. I don't know how I found that. What was that? Check this out. We were able to do with the reuse, the stuff you see in the animes and stuff. What was I watching where they were talking about? I was watching Future Boy. Conan. It's an anime. And in the beginning of the anime, they talk about this society that crumbled because of war, and then it was a brand new world that was given birth to, and they made it seem like it was going to be the future, like in the future, which, you know, history continues to repeat itself, then yes, something like that will happen. But hold on real quick. Was it documentaries? Sorry, I got my playlist here. Yo, we used to know how to control the elements, but our frequency is all tapped off right now. We're all jacked up. Look. Check this out, man. Yo, check this out. I knew we could do the Kamehamehas, yo. I knew it. I almost did one the other day. I saw some type of sparkle. Look.
I first met him in the early 80s in a Chinatown of urban Java.
Check this out.
He didn't want his real name or address revealed, so we called him DJ for Dynamo Jack.
Check this out.
He was only a healer, he said, but he did direct a powerful energy generated from his own body into his patients.
Look.
Sometimes he used the needles, sometimes just his hands.
Look.
He called the energy Chi.
Look.
And it was so strong that he usually needed a grounder to hold his patient's feet.
Look!
For years, we followed him around Java on his healing rounds, pleading to be allowed to film him, but he always refused, saying his powers resulted from a type of meditation with an ancient tradition of secrecy. It was only when my brother Lorne was suffering from a serious eye infection that he finally allowed us to film him in 1987.
It was nothing like any acupuncture I'd ever had. I was getting really powerful electric shocks and couldn't control my movements at all.
Yin yang, positive and negative. And my positive from here and my negative from here. And we meet together, this can get like electricity.
And is this because you're special? You have a special sort of
it's meditation every day.
It's meditation.
Meditation every day. Like you can touch me. Like this, it's nothing, okay? It's my burn.
Look.
It's like this.
Look.
For our sound recordist, it was also a shocker.
Look.
He then took our newspaper.
Look at this. Look.
And showed us how chi can also be used
Hadouken.
on fire.
Look. Hadouken. Kame. Look.
When he heard we'd shown this footage in public, he was very upset and refused all our future efforts to contact him again. As the years passed, we sadly resigned ourselves to never seeing him again. My brother Lorne never did.
Yeah, look, that's too much. That's too much. That's too much. They're about to shadow ban me for life. They're about to shadow ban me for life. Whew. Mother sucker. Mother suckers. There's things that we used to do, man, that they got us up off of our purpose. They got us focused on some of the most stupidest things. They got us focused on some of the most stupidest things, man. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I get really sensitive when it comes to video games, man. That's why I get really sensitive when it comes to anime, you know? Because those were like the first birthing grounds of my teachings. Those were the first birthing grounds when I was playing the Xenogears and the Final Fantasy VIIs and using the materia system and you know, watching the animes where I was watching the Street Fighters and the Dragon Ball Zs and the Naruto, you know what I mean? Now we know we got to focus, we got to checklist, and we got to make sure that we're catering towards a modern audience. What does that mean? And you think that they're taking away, you think that they're adding stuff, but they're really taking it away. Yeah, GTA, COD, Assassin's Creed is all dumb to dumb you down. Yeah. What they got you focused on now, huh? Gender wars, sex, you know? Y'all should be focusing on your chi. Y'all should be focusing on your chi, right? Making fireballs. I always knew we could do that, yo. When I used to be, I was like 7, 8 years old, man. 7 or 8. And the closer you are to God is when you're first born. You know what I mean? When you're brand new to this planet before they get all their the chemicals and stuff on you like that. As soon as you get out of that womb, as soon as you get out of that mother's womb, man, they inject you with every shot, and they just added the COVID shot to that shot. The COVID shot was for you, of course, but it's also for the future inhabitants of this earth, to prevent them from reaching their godlike powers, you know? The foods are laced with all types of chemicals. You're eating healthy and it's still trash. The air is so goddamn polluted. You're breathing in this air, you're looking up, and then you're seeing a plane fly by releasing all types of toxic synthetic metals. There's giant spaceships in the sky. And they always come through and fly those planes and cover up the sky when they got those giant spaceships out there. So it's also a covering mechanism as well. When you were a kid, man, when I was a kid looking at that stuff, man, I was like, yo, this is the real deal. This is it. We could do this, you know? But everybody around me was so obsessed with NBA 2K and NBA Live, they didn't want to hear that, you know? Oh, come on, Zoe, what are you talking about, man? Come pick up this basketball, you know? Area 51, yeah. The game is rigged. It's some type of weird simulation that we're in right now, man. Some type of weird simulation that we all agreed to come to, man. They tricked us into coming into this simulation. Hey, man, did you want to relive the 90s? Where you had hit video games, Toys R Us, women. Oh, remember back in the day when the women were better? Oh, the womb was better. Remember when the vaginal womb was better? Oh my God, you were young and you got access to some finger action, right? And oh, that womb was so pure. It was so warm. It was so gooey, right? Remember? You stick your finger in one of these modern day wombs. Oh God, you want to take your finger out. You're like, oh, it feels weird. What is that? Remember when when we were young, that womb, right? Felt like just fingering it was amazing. Try putting your fingers in one of these modern day wombs. And I don't even blame the women, man. They're getting access to those dildos that's grinding up the womb, shredding up the womb. You know what I mean? They didn't do those things back in the day. The sexual freedom, the sexual liberation, they're having sex with anything. Man, woman, animals. Oh, have you seen the modern woman's diet? That's what's really destroying that womb. Just sit back and watch the modern woman eat, you know? Modern women should not be eating the things that are being out there to be consumed. They just literally walk up in the store and just read the front of the thing and goes, oh, snap, habanero, cheesy, mango, right? You go, oh my God, you're going to eat that? Yeah, so I like it. It tastes good. And then those synthetic lead chemicals, the metal chemicals, are getting into that stomach, and then they make their way through the vaginal and through the anus, and it's tearing those walls apart. Yeah, these Doritos. When I came up, we had about 3 flavors. There was nacho cheese, there was Cool Ranch, and there was some type of spicy thing, right? Now you're going in, they got about 20 different flavors of Doritos. I'm like, what the freak? Does that say blood? Yeah, blood. One of the flavors is blood. You know, you're like, oh, okay, I don't want this. And it's not real blood. It's some type of synthetic, natural flavor. I challenge, fellas, we're very conscious when it comes to our foods. Are we not? I know I am. When I go into the store, I grab the food and I purposely read the back of that mother sucker. I was at the Costco the other day, and I'm buying my kombuchas. You know, I'm getting access to my kombuchas. These are the Costco and Kirkland kombuchas. Let's look at the ingredients. It says, what does it say there? Organic cane sugar, organic filtered water, organic kombucha, organic tea blend, organic kombucha culture, organic ginger juice. Yeah, organic whole lemon puree. Yeah, right. And then some woman comes up to me and she's like, "Oh my God, have you tried? I think it's called Hum HUMS. It's another kombucha joint. Oh my God, have you tried this one? It's delicious." You know, a woman coming in to tell me something like, I'm a man, I don't know what I'm doing, right? She's got to tell me what the delicious joint is, right? Because she's a woman, she knows way more than I know. And I go, "Oh no, I never tried that one." You know what I mean? And she's like, "Oh, it's delicious. It has less sugar, no more, blah, 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 blah." So I grabbed the joint. You know what I'm saying? I said, "Let me look at this, man." Because I remember I was looking at this kombucha before, but something told me not to get it. And that's because of whatever, and I forgot, because I just said, I ain't messing with that. But then I grabbed it and I said, let me take a look at this real quick. And then I started reading the back, and it had this and it had that. And then you started going even lower, and it started saying natural flavors, synthetic flavorings. You know what I mean? That's what natural flavors is. It's synthetic. It's plastic flavorings. They're not even reading the back. They're as long as it tastes good, that's all that matters. That gets into the woman's womb, and it is the reason why that womb is so goddamn toxic. You don't even want to be near the womb. They're offering in the womb, and you're like, you don't even know why you're neglecting it. It's because of your natural God essence is telling you the woman has been poisoned. This woman tried to reach Zoe. Should have got her number. Nah, you know. I get offended by small things, and you guys know that. Hey, Zoe, pretty nice day, right? And I'm like, what do you mean by nice day? You know what I'm saying? I get annoyed easily. You know what I mean? The hell you mean it's a nice day? What you trying to say, man? No, Zoe, I was just trying to say, what you mean, huh? Zoe, oh my God, you're so funny, right? What you mean I'm funny, huh? What am I, a clown? Am I here to amuse you, huh? You know what I'm saying? No, I was just saying you're funny, man. What the F you mean that I'm funny, huh? Funny how? And I was offended by her telling me, you know, I know what I'm coming for. You know, but me being a man, I don't know what I'm doing, right? Have you tried this one? You need to try this one because you don't know. I know. You don't know. Yeah, hey, Zome or Zone, what's up, man? Man, I know things that she could never understand. If I was to sit down with her right now, I would tell her what the planet really looks like, what shape the planet really is. You know what I mean? All types of crazy stuff. And she'll look at me like I was crazy. Well, the history books don't say that. CNN doesn't say that. Man, I challenge you to sit there and watch the woman eat. Flat to that off a footstool. Chilling, going to the gym, may meet some co-workers there. Okay, nice. Yeah, man, that gym is beautiful. I gotta go to the gym. I haven't been in like 4 days. I'm thinking about going tonight or just start fresh tomorrow. I love that gym, man. That gym is, it's beautiful, man. I was talking to my boy Solo today about rizzing girls and stuff like that. And a lot of you guys have this anti-rizz mindset, and you come up with all these excuses on not to rizz the ladies. Oh, I don't want to boost up her ego. Oh, these girls don't deserve this, and these girls are this, and the girls. But my boy Solo, he finally came out and was honest and said he's scared. He's scared. Scared of a woman. Huh? That woman came from your rib and you're scared?
All right, gang. Welcome.
Scared. I would be embarrassed. Anybody is afraid to step to women? It's willful ignorance at this point to not know we're trapped in an illusion. Yeah, you know, it's an illusion, but don't get it twisted, man. But it can get real. It can get real. whatever it is that you feel like is real, that illusion will get real in a second. You're scared of the baddies. Man, that's the least scared of. When I was in Arizona, man, I was coming across baddies, and I was talking to baddies, and they were the most easiest to talk to. They were so cool. You know what I mean? I remember me and my cousin, we stepped to these girls. The one girl was 6 foot, the one that I wanted, and the other one was like 6'2". They were from Maine, biracial girls. The skin was like gold. Feet, they had nice feet, short skirts with the thighs out. We stepped to them, yo. No fear. I had no fear in my heart. I just stepped to them. I was like, man, this is my type. I started talking. They started laughing. That's the thing, man. That's the thing. When you're stepping to the females and they start laughing, hook, line, and sinker. I got the number. My cousin, he was afraid. He was scared. He was there, but he ain't tried to get the other girl's number. I don't remember. Did he? I don't think he called her. I called her, man. This chick was digging me hard, yo. Yeah, rejection hurts. Don't get it twisted, man. There are some rejections that I got over the years. But the biggest rejection I ever had in my entire life, when it came to rizzing, was never the no, was never the, getting ignored, while you're talking, hey, what's up, how you doing, what's your name? And they just ignore you, like they're on the phone and stuff like that. That never, and you're in front of a crowd of people and that happens, that was never embarrassing for me. Calling a girl and it was a fake number, that wasn't embarrassing for me. Calling a girl and then she ghosts you, that was never embarrassing. Going on a date, then after the date, she ghosts you, or having sexual intercourse and then after the intercourse, her ghosting you, that was never embarrassing for me. I was always just happy to do something that was outside of myself. I would be more embarrassed if I created something like an anime or a video game, not an anime, but a cartoon or a video game, and then people was like, this is trash. I would be more embarrassed if I did a YouTube channel and people were like, man, this is trash. This dude's mad corny, man. I'm out of here, I would be more embarrassed like that. My success on YouTube is because of me. If I choose not to be consistent. Yes, I make these jokes trying to say that I'm being shadow banned by Microsoft and Phil Spencer, and those are all true things. But at the end of the day, YouTube or rizzing girls or anything like that, or the negative parts that happen with rizzing girls or whatever risk I took was always, I was never afraid of that. I would just be more afraid of the rejection of I made something and people didn't like it. That would be more embarrassing for me than being rejected by a female, or not creating something and I'm on my deathbed and I didn't do what I wanted to do. That would be embarrassing for me. But the only time I was embarrassed while raising a girl, many years ago, I stepped to this girl. Now, when I did this twice. One time when I was with my friends, where I walked up to a girl and I was like, I was real young. And my friend told me to do it. And he wasn't my friend. He was just some guy I knew, but he was hanging out with us. He was older than us. He was bigger than us. And he made me do it. And I went up and I froze up like a bitch. And my friend said, "Man, don't you ever do that again, man. What the hell is wrong with you?" And I was embarrassed, right? And then I did it again, and as an adult, stepped to this girl, walked all the way up. No, I was like, "Hey, yo," I was like, "Excuse me." She was walking by. I was like, "Excuse me." And then the lady stops the girl, and she says, "Hey, that guy over there wants you." And then I walk up to talk to the girl, and then I get to her, and we're interlocking eyes, and she's smiling, and I'm like, "Oh, never mind. Sorry, I thought you were somebody else." And I ran off. That was embarrassing. And I told myself, if I ever was to Riz again, I would never, ever, ever, at the time it wasn't called Rizzing, but if I ever approached a girl, don't you ever in your life, the words that my friend was screaming and yelling at me came through me. And I was like, yo, in your entire life, don't you ever do no like that. That was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. And she was like, "Oh, okay." And then she turned around and kept walking. Now that is some BI. That's something to be embarrassed about. If you step to these females, you complete the task. Take the rejection. If she says no, take that rejection. Don't you ever be afraid. You take that. Some of y'all afraid of rejections. Some of y'all need that rejection, God damn it. Rejection is good. It builds character. If I could do this, I can do anything. And I was so bitched about it. I was afraid. Just the thought of her saying no. Wasted everybody's time. Wasted my time. Wasted that lady's time. I wasted the girl's time. That was embarrassing. Yeah, my friend Solo was like, "Yeah, yo, you go to talk to 10 girls, and the one girl, out of the 10 girls, you get one of the numbers." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you got one more than you had yesterday." I saw a guy do a video like that. "Oh man, it's not even worth it to talk to these girls, man. It's not even worth it approaching these girls, man, because you say if you talk to 20 of them, and then one of them, and then only get one." Yeah, but that's one more than if you would never talk to them. Why are you guys putting that much on the woman? That's too much. Now you got one more. Go out and talk to 20 more, you got two more. Go out and talk to 20 more, you got three more. You're going to get one of them. You're going to get one of them. That's the beauty of it all. The more you approach, the more you do it, the better you're going to do it. It's just like anything in life. In this life that we live, the more you do it, the better you're going to get. And then those 20 rejections turn out to be 19 rejections. And out of the 19, it becomes the 18. And out of the 17, it just gets lesser and lesser and lesser. And you get better and better and better. Sometimes it's better to demand instead of asking, but you also got to have key time, and it's fun. My most funnest days is when I used to Riz in Arizona, man. Oh, those were great. I'm retired now. I'm an old man. I have a special girl in my life. I'm retired. I would never perform any of those stunts now. But I'm just talking to my fellas in the Discord that are looking to get access to women. I was 16 working at a Wingstop, seen a baddie, went at it, and she was with it. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, that should be hot, man. When you try to get at a chick and you be like, "God, man, this chick hot than the mother sucker." You ever get at a chick who was hot than the mother sucker, then you went after a chick who was kind of average, and the chick that was average rejected you? And you be like, "Hey, the other chick I got was 10 times hotter." funny. And then, you know, you learn too. You be like, all right, that didn't work last time. Okay, last time I asked her for her Facebook, you know, that's whack. Next time I asked if she had a boyfriend, that's not going to work. So you find new ways to open new doors. You know what I'm saying? Because you start asking for certain things, she can use that as a way to shut it down. You got a Facebook? No, I don't have a Facebook. You got a MySpace? No, I don't have a MySpace. You got a boyfriend? Yeah, I have a boyfriend. And that kind of starts to, you know, defeat you a little bit. Like, oh, okay, she's not gonna be down with the thing. So then you just kind of go, hey, what's up? What's your name? Beautiful, blah, blah, blah. Hey, do you like this? You like coffee? Or, you know, hey, how about I take you out sometime? Blah, blah. It kind of is an easier way to get in there. You know what I mean? One time I got rejected by this girl, right? Black girl. She was adorable. She was outside of her job. She was working at a coffee spot. And I drove by and I saw her and I said, dang, this is my type right here. So I circled back around and she's still outside putting the chairs and stuff away. So I park, I get out and I walk to her. I walk straight up on her like a man, you know what I'm saying? Boom, looked at her with perfect eye contact. And I said, you know what, you're my type. She told her that. I said, you are my type. She looked at me like, and then the biggest smile came on her face and she just started laughing. Everything I was saying, she was just laughing. She was having you could have sworn I was Eddie Murphy or Jim Carrey or something, the way she was laughing. And then, you know, we're talking and I'm like, hey, can I get your number? Maybe I could take you out sometime. And she said, I'm sorry, no. I'm sorry. And I was like, dang, I thought I had it because she was just cracking up laughing, right? And then, you know, as I was walking away, she was like, yo, I appreciate what you did. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, you know, all right. So I gave her kind of a smile and a wave and I went back to my car and I drove off. She protected me. I got to admit, I thought I had it in the bag. So, you know, I was like, damn, you know, I was like, dang it, I thought I had it, you know? So, you know, I exercise outside. I'm walking. This is like two weeks later. I'm walking and then this car pulls up beside me. There's two girls in there. It was an older lady and then there was another girl driving. It was her and her mom. And I saw her, but I tried to play it cool like I didn't remember her. She's like, do you remember me? And I was like, no, I don't. But I knew it was her. And she was like, I'm the girl at the coffee shop for blah, blah, blah. And I pretended to be in shock, like, oh yeah. And her mom was cracking up laughing, just like how she laughs. They were like two spitting images of each other, but the mom was just older and darker. And we're talking, and I'm talking to the mom, and I said, yeah, I was telling her, oh yes, I telling the mom. She's like, I'm her mom, and I was like, oh yeah, yeah. I met her at the coffee shop. Yeah, I thought she was a very beautiful woman, and then she's smiling. The mom is smiling, and I said, oh, you're very beautiful as well. You got a very beautiful smile. I'm throwing it on. You know what I'm saying? We're talking. I tell him I'm from New Jersey. Oh, from New Jersey? Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. I got family in New Jersey. I know this person in New Jersey. This and that. And then, you know, the girl goes, hey, you know, maybe I'll see you around town sometime. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So it's never really a no either, fellas. Maybe at the time, you know, she might have been going through something. You came out of nowhere. She could have been having something on her mind. I was telling my boy Solo, sometimes they reject you to save you. They can be crazy. You know what I mean? I never take anything as a no. I never took any of my situations as a no. because I would always see something after the fact that made me go, I don't think that was really a no. It's just, you catch them off guard sometimes. They're not prepared. They're not ready. You know what I'm saying? Women don't really know what they want. Imagine you being off guard. You know what I'm saying? You'd be more prepared if a woman came up on you off guard. But if a woman consistently came after you when you were off guard, you were focusing on something, you'd be like, oh my God. But fellas, we're a little different. I don't think fellas don't just outright just say, no, I'm sorry, I have a girlfriend. Men don't really do all that. You know what I'm saying? We'll let them down in other ways. Yeah, sure, we'll take your number, all right. And then, you won't call or something like that. Oh, sorry, I was busy. Uh, so a no is not really a no. I think a lot of times the girl is trying to save you. I just saw an incident a couple of days ago. It was a Hispanic lady. She had 7 children. And she was able to transform her life because she got some type of mommy makeover, some type of surgery. And then she became a fitness influencer. She was online trying to influence women with the recovery process of getting their bodies back in order. And with that process, 99% of the time when women go through those surgeries and they start losing the fat, 99.9% of the time, they start feeling themselves. A lot of guys start approaching them. A lot of guys start telling them they're beautiful. A lot of guys start doing this. This happened just a couple of days ago. So she decides to divorce her husband. She's popping. She's on Instagram. She's popping. She's getting followers. She divorces her husband. She starts dating. She goes on a date with a new guy. The husband shows up to the date. Pow, pow, pow. Pow, 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 pow. Pow, 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 pow. Sometimes the woman might be saving you, bro. You guys are rizzing. You're having a good time. You're exploring the single life. You're approaching women and it's so innocent. You just want to come in and save the girl's life. You're the closest thing to God himself. And in your Bible, it says that God created man in his image. You're the closest thing to God. You're the ultimate man. You think you're approaching the woman to start a family, to save her from her wickedness of debauchery and sin, gluttony, all the seven deadly sins. She brings you into her life, and she's the spawn of Satan. She was the first one to bite on the apple in the Garden of Eden. She was the first one to listen to Satan. She got convinced you to listen to Satan. Majority of these women are just walking demons. Majority. They follow the footsteps of the devil before they will follow you and God. And you're scared? That's what I would be scared of. I wouldn't be scared of the rejection. I would be scared of what type of demons is this woman going to bring into my life? Because this woman lost the weight, was feeling herself, went on a date. This man probably raised her up thinking he was going to save her life. And now he's dead. Some of these women are saving your lives by telling you no. If they tell you no once, walk away. You keep talking to her. Nah, but hold on, check it out. Let me tell you something else. But hold on, nah, but this. And okay, all right, I'll give you my number. And your dumb ass is about to get executed. Facts, bro. Yes, literally sucking the life out of you. Yeah. Life suckers. Where did we go, guys? How did we get here, man? Hey, I gotta sleep in the morning, but it's nice listening to you again. Just good stories. God bless you. So we stay safe. Thanks, small world. Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Enjoy your rest, brother. Ma'am. Man, brother. I'm not talking bad about the ladies. I'm not. I'm just trying to my boy's solo. He's going through it, man. I'm trying to help. Ain't nothing to be embarrassed about, brother. Read your Bible. Go to the gym. Clean up after yourself. Pick up some cleaning, cooking. Pick up some cooking techniques. Get into the things that you're into, man. Video games, you like that. I would prefer doing more outside activities. Something about being in a house, man, just draining. It makes you just want to sit here and you just be like, man, I don't want to go out there. But as soon as you go out there, man, you start having fun. My favorite thing is going to the, I'm old now. I like to go to Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and Costco's and finding new healthy stuff to eat. That's my thing right there, man. Oh, snap, I got a new sourdough bread. Soccer, yeah, I try not to do too much sports. I'm getting a little too older, but you guys are younger. You guys can go ahead and do that. If I could play basketball, I would. But I don't want to pick up the basketball. I think about getting into boxing or I was thinking about even golf. Because golf you could play and you could be old and everything and still, just have that competitive spirit. With other people, it's just fun. Boxing, yeah, I was thinking about getting into some boxing. Lowe's, Home Depot are my spot. Yeah, I like going to Home Depot, Lowe's, getting the plants. They always sell nice plants there. Shelf units you can build, get some paint and paint your rooms. Stop at Walmart, look at the, get you a record player. There's no better sound than that record player, man. That record player is nice. I tried to play it last time, but it didn't work. What happened? Did it get dusty? Hold on. It might have got a little dusty. That record player sound is beautiful, guys. You guys got to get you a record player. Get you some jazz. Dang, I can't. Hold on. Hold on real quick. This thing gets dusty. I know you love me better. Brothers and sisters. It didn't work last time. I turned off the thing, that's why. I just remembered. I turned off the thing. I don't want to get a copyright thing, but yeah, look. That sound is beautiful. Play.
Écoutez, à midi.
Quelle heure est-il?
Yeah.
Midi.
C'est l'heure de déjeuner.
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a à manger?
Yeah. I can't play it for long. Sorry, they're going to copyright me. Get you a record player. They sell records at Walmart. Go to Barnes and Nobles. They got a beautiful selection at Barnes and Nobles. Beautiful selection of records. I got jazz. I got a lot of jazz records. I listen to a lot of stuff. But that's something about that record hitting the needle and that vinyl, that black vinyl, and then it's coming through the speakers. I got 2 speakers over there. This is a artificial speaker, but I got the speakers, and it's a beautiful sound, man. And I got all types of stuff. The Anita Bakers, Getz and Gilberto Stan. This is Brazilian jazz. Zing, ding, boom, ding, zing, ding, boom, boom, ring, ka, sing, ka, boom, ka. I got Dave Burbrick and the quartet. He's got that famous. What happened to the girl you like her at the coffee shop? Nothing really. I could have went back, but I didn't. She told me no. She told me no initially. Now, she probably went back and thought about it, and now she got her mom involved, and the mom probably said I was cool, whatever. But, you know, she told me no initially, so no's a no. What's going on? Marvin Gaye, John Coltrane, Blue Train, Hall & Oates, Sarah's Smile. I got Michael Jackson. My girl got me this one, Off the Wall. It's my favorite Michael album. I like Thriller as well. Bob Marley's Legend. De La Soul. Time Out. I got the Samurai Champloo. Cowboy Bebop soundtrack. This is a good soundtrack. The Volume 1 Ultimate Hits for Disney. I like Disney music. Guardians of the Galaxy. It's got some good songs on there. It's got my song I love by Marvin Gaye. Ain't no mountain high enough? Yeah, high enough. Yeah. Ain't no mountain high enough. Jimi Hendrix, John Isaac Hayes, Truck Turner. Google Isaac Hayes, Truck Turner. They put that song in Kill Bill. Dun, 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 dun. But it sounds beautiful on the record. John Coltrane. Kanye West. I love this album. This is Kendrick. Miles Davis, Nat King Cole's Christmas. This is the wrong one though. This one has like celebrity guests. I just want the plain one. Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. Rush. This guy's good. Takeshi Toz. He's got some nice, kind of like a smooth jazz. Remember smooth jazz in the '90s? He's got something like that. It's real good. Tribe Called Quest. I don't like this guy, but I like a few songs on this album. What's his name? Forgot. Stevie Wonder. This is a good album. Travis Scott. This was given to me on accident. I didn't order this. I ordered something else, used, and it was cheap. And then they sent me a brand new Travis Scott album. So I said, okay, cool. And I ended up liking it. Stevie Wonder, Songs of the Keys of Life, Weezer, Harold Melvin, The Blue Notes. My dad got me this one. Nat King Cole. My dad got me this one. These are the ones my dad got me. I have to clean these. The Whispers, I gotta clean these. Yeah, get you a good record collection going. And the places that I'm telling you, Tyler the Creator, the places that I'm telling you to go are great places to meet women in your class. You know what I mean? Barnes and Nobles. Women that I think you guys are gonna like. You're gonna be. It's intimidating. You know what I mean? These girls are gonna be really intimidating. But these are places where you can go. Get you a record player. Go to the Barnes and Nobles. Walmart's got chicks like that, but you're gonna meet some really cool chicks when you go to the Barnes and Nobles, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods. We went to a Whole Foods, and there was a Caucasian woman rizzing on me next to my girlfriend. That was crazy. I didn't know it was rizzing until later on. I was like, oh, Snoop. I was with my girl, and then some white woman came up to me asking me. Me and my girl thought that she was going to ask us for me to grab something because I'm tall. Can you get that up there? You know what I'm saying? Girls would do that. When I was going to the supermarket, and a lady will just be like, randomly ask me to grab something on the high shelf. And I go, okay, here you go, you know. But she was like, do you know where she said, well, I forgot what it was, but it was a wild question. She was looking for some type of seasoning that we never heard before. But I think she was trying to do a temperature test to see if Mamacita was my girl or not. Some white woman. It was wild at Whole Foods. I was like, oh shit, I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. I looked at Mamacita and then I looked at her and I was like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's okay. And I was like, oh shoot, I'm getting rizzed on. You know what I mean? Knowledgeable Riz. Yeah, go to the Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Costco's, Sam's Club, you know, Barnes and Nobles. Stuff like that. Walmart's easy, but those are trash. Was the Bebop album expensive? No, I got it at Walmart. I saw a copy there when I was just there recently. They had like a little Crunchyroll anime section. We can get it from there. Anyway, I guess everybody's taking off. Chat room's getting quiet. All right, dudes. That's all I got for today. I'm going to be working a lot of overtime coming up. So we're going to have to do these rants every Sunday now. Some type of extendo podcast type thing. Triforce, what's going on, man? Thank you. Take care, brother. I'm about to get ready to go to the gym. What the? Oh, Mama City just text. Zome, what's up, man? Is it Zome or Zome? What little bro doing? My battery's about to die. I gotta charge it. I'll probably go around 7. I think it closes at 10. I want to go in the morning too. I might as well just wait till the morning. I want to do some streaming on Twitch, but I need to create some type of gaming setup. So just give me a little bit time for that. We're gonna start streaming on Twitch. We're gonna have it set up. We got the camera, then the face cam, and then the game, and then we're gonna be playing games. I want to play Xenogears, a full playthrough of that, and then we'll post the videos to YouTube. You're not the only one who says Zome. Okay, cool. Now I know because people get my name wrong. They be like, "Hey, Zob," and I'd be like, Facecam Personified Royale. Yeah, I want to get into some serious streaming, game streaming. But I'll be working. I'm gonna be working a lot of overtimes and going to the gym. So I hope I can do all this stuff. I'm probably gonna have to do the gym every other day, except for every day. I should be doing the gym every other day anyway. But I like the way that the gym feels when there's a nice feeling that comes when you get done. So I usually do it for like a little stress reliever. So bang. All right, dudes. I might be back. If there's some news that pops up, I'll be back. I saw news on Monster Hunter it's like only got 1% players and it's 86 negative votes. I was like, oh God, I was gonna do a Monster Hunter video. But don't go. I was gonna do a Monster Hunter video. These Japanese developers, they gotta chill out. They got to chill out with the casualizing and the streamlining of the games. They got to stop. It's not looking good.